There is something about to happen in your life that will not announce itself with noise. It will not arrive with thunder, nor will it come wrapped in obvious signs. It will look normal, almost too normal, and that is exactly why so many miss it. But not you. Not this time. Archangel Michael speaks now, not with fear, but with firm urgency. He reveals that what is coming will feel like just another moment, another conversation, another decision, another passing second in your day. You may be scrolling, walking, speaking to someone, or simply sitting in silence. And yet, within that moment lies a shift so precise, so divinely orchestrated, that it carries the power to redirect your path completely. Have you ever looked back on your life and realized that everything changed because of one small choice? One message you almost ignored. One place you almost didn't go. One instinct you almost dismissed. At the time, it felt insignificant. But later you saw it clearly. That was a moment. That was the turning point. Michael says, you are approaching another one of those moments now. And here is the truth that may shake you. This moment will test your awareness more than your strength. It will not demand effort. It will demand attention. Because what is about to unfold will be subtle. It will whisper, not shout. And only those who are spiritually alert will recognize its weight. You felt something building, haven't you? A quiet tension. A sense that something is shifting beneath the surface, even if nothing around you has visibly changed. That feeling is not random. That is preparation. That is heaven aligning pieces behind the scenes, setting the stage for something that must meet you at the exact right time. But here is the challenge. The ordinary has become your blind spot. You have learned to overlook the small things, to move quickly, to assume that if something isn't dramatic, it isn't important. And that is exactly where this moment will try to pass unnoticed. It will wear the disguise of routine. It will hide inside familiarity. It will feel like just another day. But Michael warns, this is not just another day. There is a divine encounter hidden in simplicity. A word someone says may carry confirmation you've been praying for. A delay may protect you from something you cannot yet see. A sudden thought may not be yours, but divine instruction breaking through. Even a moment of discomfort may be a signal, not a setback. You must slow down enough to notice. Because what's coming is not random. It is appointed. It has been placed on your timeline with intention. And whether it becomes a breakthrough or a missed opportunity depends on one thing: your awareness in the moment. Michael stands beside you now, not to force your actions, but to sharpen your perception. He is urging you to watch closely, to listen deeper, to feel beyond the surface. Because the next ordinary moment you experience may not be ordinary at all. It may be the very moment that shifts everything. Do not rush past it. Do not dismiss it. Do not sleep through it. Because heaven is about to move quietly, and only the attentive will recognize the miracle hidden in plain sight. Type "I am aware" in the comments if you are ready to notice what others overlook. Blessing code 1717 is now activated around your path. You may believe that you are simply moving through life as it comes, reacting to circumstances, adapting to changes, and doing your best to stay grounded. But Archangel Michael steps forward now with a revelation that reframes everything you thought was random. He declares that you have not been wandering. You have been prepared. Quietly, precisely, and intentionally prepared for the very moment that is now approaching you. Think back to the recent days, weeks, even months. There have been shifts within you that you could not fully explain. Your patience has been tested in ways that felt unnecessary. Your emotions have been stirred in moments that seem disproportionate. You have been pushed into silence when you wanted to speak, and pulled into reflection when you preferred distraction. At times, it felt uncomfortable, even frustrating, as if life was slowing you down or holding you back without reason. But Michael says there was always a reason. Every delay carried instruction. Every discomfort carried refinement. Every quiet moment carried alignment. You were being trained to notice what you once overlooked. There is a difference between living and perceiving, and heaven had been developing your perception. Because the moment that is coming cannot be recognized by someone who is rushing, distracted, or disconnected. It requires a sensitivity that only comes through preparation. That is why you have been feeling more aware lately, more observant, more in tune with subtle changes in people, in energy, in atmosphere. You have begun to notice things others dismiss. You have felt shifts before they became visible. And even when you doubted yourself, something within you kept whispering, "Pay attention." That whisper was not your imagination. It was divine instruction. Archangel Michael reveals that you have been walking through a series of unseen rehearsals. Conversations that seemed insignificant were actually sharpening your discernment. Situations that felt repetitive were actually training your response. Even the moments where you felt misunderstood or overlooked were shaping your ability to remain centered without external validation. You were being stripped of the need for noise so you could recognize truth in silence. And now, that preparation is about to meet its purpose. There is a reason why certain distractions have been falling away from your life. A reason why some connections have become distant. A reason why you have felt a pull away from environments that once felt normal. It is not loss, it is positioning. Because what is about to happen requires clarity, and clarity cannot exist in chaos. Heaven has been clearing your path, even when it felt like things were being taken from you. In reality, what was removed was never meant to accompany you into this next moment. You have also been learning to trust something deeper than logic. There have been times when your instincts told you one thing, even when everything on the surface suggested another. Times when you felt prompted to pause, to wait, to observe instead of act. And whether you followed that instinct or ignored it, each experience taught you something. It strengthened your awareness. It refined your sensitivity. It prepared you to recognize the difference between impulse and instruction. This is what Michael wants you to understand. Preparation does not always feel like progress. Often, it feels like confusion, like stillness, like questioning. But beneath all of that, something is being built within you, a quiet readiness that does not need validation to be real. The moment approaching you will not introduce something new. It will reveal what you have already been prepared to see. That is why this message has found you now, before it happens. Because awareness must come before the encounter. If you wait until the moment arrives, you may miss it. But if you understand now that you have been prepared, you will enter that moment differently. You will not rush through it. You will not dismiss it. You will stand in it with a deeper sense of attention, knowing that something greater is unfolding beneath the surface. Archangel Michael is not asking you to become someone else. He is reminding you of who you have already become through everything you have experienced. The growth you questioned, the lessons you resisted, the awareness you slowly developed, all of it has led to this point. You are not unready. You are not unqualified. You are not behind. You are prepared in ways you have not yet fully realized. And when this moment arrives, you will feel it. Not because it will be loud, but because something within you will recognize it. A quiet knowing, a subtle clarity, a sense that this is not just another passing second. That is your preparation speaking. Do not ignore it this time. Type "I trust my preparation" in the comments if you are ready to walk in awareness. Blessing code 2626 is now lining your spirit with divine timing. There are signs already forming around you, and the truth is, some of them have already appeared. They did not come as dramatic warnings or undeniable revelations. They came quietly, always blending into your normal routine, disguised as coincidence, timing, or fleeting thoughts. But Archangel Michael steps forward with urgency now and says, "These are not coincidences. These are signals. And the reason you are being told this now is because what is coming next will require you to recognize these signs without hesitation. You have already begun to notice small disruptions in your usual flow. Moments where something felt slightly off, even if you could not explain why. A conversation that lingered in your mind longer than it should have. A pause in your day that felt heavier than expected. A sudden sense to stop, wait, or reconsider, even when everything around you seemed fine. These are not random interruptions. They are adjustments. They are spiritual cues designed to slow you down just enough so you do not miss what is hidden in plain sight. Michael reveals that the divine does not always speak through loud declarations. Often, it speaks through repetition, through patterns that quietly repeat themselves until you finally recognize them. Have you noticed something recurring lately? The same type of situation showing up again. The same emotional response being triggered. The same kind of decision presenting itself in a slightly different form. This is not life repeating itself without purpose. This is preparation reaching its final stage. Because when the moment arrives, it may look familiar, but your response must be different. There will also be signs through people. Not in obvious ways, but in subtle shifts. Someone may say something that feels ordinary on the surface, but something within you will pause. You will feel a sentence that carries more weight than it should. A tone that reveals more than the words themselves. Even silence from someone can become a message if you are paying attention. Michael says, do not just hear, discern. Because what is spoken around you in the coming moment will carry layers, and only your awareness will uncover them. Another sign will come through timing. Things may not happen when you expect them to. A delay may frustrate you at first, or an unexpected change may disrupt your plan. But what feels like inconvenience may actually be divine alignment. If something is slowed down, there is a reason. If something speeds up suddenly, there is also a reason. The danger is not in the change itself. The danger is in reacting without awareness. Because this moment will test whether you can remain still long enough to understand why things are unfolding the way they are. You may also experience a heightened sense of intuition, a feeling that you should pay closer attention to something you would normally ignore. A quiet inner nudge that does not make logical sense, yet feels undeniably real. This is one of the clearest signs, yet also the most commonly dismissed. Many have been taught to ignore that inner voice, to override it with logic or comfort. But Michael warns you now, in the moment that is coming, that inner voice will be your guide. If you ignore it, you risk missing the meaning entirely. Even your emotions may carry signals. Not the overwhelming ones, but the subtle shifts. A sudden calm in the middle of uncertainty. A quiet discomfort in what should feel easy. A sense of clarity that appears without explanation. These emotional cues are not weaknesses. They are indicators. They are part of your awareness system being activated, helping you sense what your eyes cannot yet see. What makes this moment so critical is not its size, but its subtlety. It will not force your attention. It will invite it. And only those who have learned to notice the small things will understand its significance. That is why you are being prepared now, through this message, to sharpen your awareness before it arrives. Archangel Michael stands beside you, not to create fear, but to increase your focus. He is not asking you to overanalyze everything, but to remain present enough to notice when something carries more weight than it appears. Because when the moment comes, it will not announce itself as important. It will rely on your awareness to be recognized. And if you are paying attention, you will see it clearly. Type ISE the signs in the comments if you are ready to recognize what others miss. Blessing code 3737 is now opening your eyes to divine signals. As this message reveals the hidden signs placed along your path, understand this: every time this word reaches another soul, a light is ignited in a place that once felt dark. This mission is not about a channel. It is about awakening those who are standing at their own unseen moments. Scripture declares, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy," and right now, your seed can become someone else's breakthrough. I feel led to say this clearly. I am stepping into alignment by helping this message reach who needs it most. When you give through Super Thanks with the PayPal link in the description, you are not donating. You are planting into a divine harvest of clarity and awakening. Heaven sees every act, and what you release now will return multiplied in ways only God can orchestrate. This is your moment to act, not later, not eventually, now. Step forward and sow. Something is already changing around you, even if you cannot fully see it yet. Archangel Michael makes this clear with unwavering authority. The moment you are approaching is not isolated. It is the result of a shift that has already begun in the spiritual realm, quietly unfolding before it manifests in your visible reality. What you are about to encounter is simply the surface expression of a deeper movement that has been building with precision. You may have sensed it without understanding it. A subtle difference in the atmosphere around you. Moments where things feel slightly unfamiliar, even in places you know well. A shift in how people respond to you, how situations unfold, or how your own thoughts begin to form. These are not random fluctuations. They are indicators that something beneath the surface is rearranging itself. And when the spiritual shifts, the physical must eventually follow. Michael explains that these shifts do not happen loudly. They do not interrupt your life with obvious signs or dramatic announcements. Instead, they move quietly, adjusting timelines, aligning circumstances, repositioning people, and preparing moments that will later appear as simple events. But behind those events is a level of orchestration that cannot be seen unless you are aware of it. Right now, something is being aligned specifically for you. There are connections being adjusted, some drawing closer, others pulling away. There are opportunities forming, even if they have not yet revealed themselves. There are delays being placed with intention, not to frustrate you, but to ensure that when things do unfold, they happen at the exact right time. This is not randomness. This is alignment in motion. At the same time, there is resistance. Whenever a shift begins, there is always a tension between what is changing and what is trying to remain the same. You may feel this as internal hesitation, as moments where doubt suddenly appears without reason, or as a pull toward old habits, old ways of thinking, or familiar distractions. This is not weakness. This is the natural friction that comes with transition. Michael warns you not to misinterpret this resistance. It is easy to assume that resistance means something is wrong, that you should stop, that you should return to what feels comfortable. But in reality, resistance often appears because something is right, because something is shifting you forward, and what is behind you is trying to maintain its hold. This is why your awareness is critical right now, because if you misread the shift, you may unknowingly step out of alignment with what is being prepared for you. You are standing in a space between what was and what is about to be. This space can feel uncertain. It can feel unclear. But it is also where your awareness sharpens the most. Because in this space, you are no longer fully anchored in the old, but you have not yet fully stepped into the new. And it is here that the moment you are being warned about will appear. What makes this moment significant is not just what it is, but where it appears, right in the middle of this shift. It will serve as a bridge, a point where your awareness determines how you move forward. If you recognize it, you step into alignment. If you overlook it, you may remain in a cycle that was already meant to end. This is why Michael is urging you now to become still within yourself. Not still in action, but still in awareness. To observe without rushing to conclusions. To notice without immediately reacting. Because the shift happening around you requires a different kind of response. Not one driven by habit, but one guided by awareness. You may begin to notice that things no longer feel the same as they once did. Situations that used to feel normal may now feel out of place. Conversations that once flowed easily may now feel forced or unnecessary. Even your own reactions may begin to change, as if something within you is no longer aligned with what used to be familiar. This is not confusion. This is transformation beginning to take hold. Michael emphasizes that this shift is not here to disrupt you, but to reposition you. Everything that is being adjusted around you is preparing you for the moment that is coming. And that moment will not demand effort. It will require recognition. It will require you to see what is in front of you for what it truly is, not just what it appears to be. This is why you must remain attentive now. Because the shift has already begun. The alignment is already in motion. And the moment that carries more meaning than you expect is already on its way toward you. Do not let it pass unnoticed. Type "I align with the shift" in the comments if you are ready to move with awareness. Blessing code 4848 is now stabilizing your path within divine alignment. What is approaching you will not feel like a test at first. It will not come labeled as a decision point or a defining moment. It will come quietly, almost casually, wrapped inside something that appears completely ordinary. Archangel Michael reveals this with precision. The moment you are about to encounter will be disguised as a simple interaction, something so familiar that your natural instinct may be to move through it without a second thought. But within that interaction lies a deeper layer, a test not of your strength, but of your awareness. This test will not challenge you in obvious ways. It will not demand effort or force you into a dramatic situation. Instead, it will invite you to respond the way you always have. That is where its true nature is hidden. Because the real question is not what the moment is, but who you choose to be within it. You may find yourself in a conversation that feels routine. Words will be exchanged, and on the surface, nothing will seem unusual. But beneath those words there will be meaning. A subtle tone, a specific phrase, or even a pause in the dialogue will carry significance. You will feel it even if you cannot immediately explain it. This is where the test begins. Do you dismiss that feeling and continue as usual, or do you pause and recognize that something more is present? Michael explains that many miss these moments because they are conditioned to react automatically, to respond based on habit rather than awareness, to fill silence quickly instead of observing it. But this moment will require something different. It will require you to step out of autopilot and into intention. There may also be a decision presented to you, one that seems minor at first. It may not feel like it carries long-term consequences. It may appear as a simple choice, something easy, something you have handled many times before. But this time, the outcome will depend on whether you approach it with awareness or assumption. because what appears small may hold a larger direction within it. You may also notice that your emotional response is being tested. Something may trigger a familiar reaction within you. Perhaps impatience, frustration, or the urge to defend yourself. It may feel justified. It may feel natural. But Michael warns that this is part of the test. Because the moment is not just about what happens, it is about how you respond to what happens. Will you react the way you always have, or will you pause long enough to choose differently? This is where your preparation meets its purpose. Everything you have experienced, everything you have learned to notice, everything you have begun to understand about your own awareness will come into play in this interaction. Not in a dramatic way, but in a quiet, decisive one. There may also be an opportunity hidden within this moment. Something that does not immediately present itself as significant. It could be an opening, a connection, or even a piece of information that seems small at first. But if recognized, it can shift your direction. If overlooked, it simply passes by as another ordinary detail. Michael emphasizes that this moment will not force itself upon you. It will not demand your attention. It will rely on your awareness to be seen. And that is what makes it a test. Because anyone can respond to something obvious. But only the aware can recognize what is subtle. You must also understand that this test is not here to trap you. It is not here to create failure. It is here to reveal your readiness. To show you that you are capable of seeing beyond the surface. To confirm that the preparation you have gone through has not been in vain. And yet, the risk remains. If you move through the moment too quickly, if you allow habit to guide you instead of awareness, you may miss what it carries. You may respond in a way that keeps you aligned with the old instead of stepping into what is new. Not because you are unable, but because you did not recognize the significance in time. That is why this message is being given to you now, before the moment arrives. So that when it does, something within you pauses. Something within you recognizes that this is not just another interaction. That there is more beneath the surface. Archangel Michael stands with you in this, not to control your actions, but to remind you to remain present. To observe before you respond. To listen beyond words, to feel beyond appearances. Because when this interaction comes, it will not announce itself as important. But if you are aware, you will know. And in that knowing, everything can change. Type "I respond" with awareness in the comments if you are ready to pass the test before you see it. Lesson code 5959 is now strengthening your discernment. As this moment draws closer, something else is rising alongside it, something subtle yet persistent, something that does not come to support your awareness but to compete with it. Archangel Michael reveals this clearly. There is a battle unfolding, not in the obvious sense, but within your focus, your attention, and your ability to remain present. It is the quiet but powerful conflict between distraction and discernment. You may have already begun to feel it. A sudden increase in scattered thoughts. A pull toward things that do not truly matter. A sense of urgency around tasks, conversations, or distractions that seem to demand your attention all at once. It can feel like your mind is being stretched in multiple directions, as if something is trying to keep you occupied just enough so that you do not slow down. This is not random. Michael explains that whenever a significant moment approaches, distraction intensifies. Not always in obvious ways, but in small, persistent interruptions that gradually pull you away from your center. It may come as endless scrolling, unnecessary conversations, overthinking minor details, or even revisiting old concerns that no longer hold relevance. These distractions do not appear harmful on the surface, but their purpose is not to harm directly. It is to divide your attention, because a divided mind cannot discern clearly. Discernment requires stillness. It requires presence. It requires the ability to observe without being consumed. But distraction thrives on movement, on noise, on constant engagement without depth. And this is where the battle takes place. Not outside of you, but within your awareness itself. You may notice that just as you begin to feel grounded, something interrupts you. Just as you begin to reflect, something pulls you away. Just as clarity starts to form, something introduces confusion. These are not coincidences. They are part of the tension between what is trying to align you and what is trying to keep you unaware. Michael does not reveal this to create fear, but to strengthen your focus. Because once you recognize distraction for what it is, it loses much of its power. It no longer controls your attention unconsciously. You begin to see it as a signal rather than a command. The key in this moment is not to eliminate all distractions, but to recognize them without surrendering to them. There is a difference. You will not be able to stop every interruption, every thought, or every pull on your attention. But you can choose how you respond to it. You can notice when something is trying to pull you away from presence. You can pause before engaging. You can ask yourself, even for a brief second, is this necessary right now? That pause is where discernment begins. Archangel Michael emphasizes that discernment is not something external that suddenly appears. It is something already within you, something that becomes stronger when you create space for it. And that space is created through awareness, through choosing not to react immediately, through allowing yourself to observe before you engage. This is why the battle feels subtle, because it is not about dramatic opposition. It is about small choices repeated over time, choosing to stay present instead of drifting, choosing to observe instead of reacting, choosing to listen beyond the surface instead of rushing through the moment. As the approaching moment draws near, this battle will become more noticeable, not overwhelming but persistent. You may feel the urge to rush when there is no need to rush. You may feel pulled toward distractions that normally would not hold your attention. You may even feel a sense of restlessness without clear reason. Michael says, this is your signal to slow down, because discernment does not operate in haste. It operates in awareness. A moment that is coming will not compete for your attention. It will not demand urgency. It will exist quietly, waiting to be recognized. And if your attention is scattered, if your mind is occupied elsewhere, it may pass by unnoticed. That is why this battle matters. Not because distraction is powerful on its own, but because it can quietly pull you away from what matters most if left unchecked. And not because discernment is difficult, but because it requires intentional awareness to remain active. You are not being asked to become perfect in your focus. You are being asked to become conscious of where your attention goes, because where your attention rests determines what you recognize, and what you recognize in the coming moment will determine how you move forward from it. Archangel Michael stands with you in this space, not removing every distraction, but strengthening your ability to see through them, to remain present even when things attempt to pull you away, to stay aware even when the environment around you feels scattered. This is your role now, to guard your attention, to protect your awareness, to choose discernment over distraction, even in the smallest moments. Because when the moment arrives, it will not fight for your focus. It will simply appear, and only the attentive will see it for what it truly is. Type "I choose discernment" in the comments if you are ready to stay present. Blessing code 6060 is now strengthening your focus and clarity. There is a voice within you that has been speaking long before this moment began to approach. It is not loud, it does not demand attention, and it does not force itself into your decisions. Yet it has always been there, steady, consistent, and quietly aware. Archangel Michael brings your focus to this now because the moment you are about to encounter will depend heavily on whether you recognize and trust this voice when it speaks. You have heard it before. In moments when something did not feel right, even when everything appeared fine. In moments when you sensed clarity before any evidence confirmed it. In moments when you felt a pause within yourself, a subtle hesitation that asked you to wait, to reconsider, or to observe more closely. That was not uncertainty. That was not fear. That was awareness communicating through you. But there have also been times when you dismissed it. Times when you chose logic over instinct, comfort over clarity, or speed over stillness. Times when you explained away what you felt because it did not make immediate sense. And afterward, you realized that the voice was right, that it had seen something before you could fully understand it. That realization has repeated itself more than once, and it was never meant to create regret. It was meant to teach you recognition. Michael says this clearly. The voice within you is not new. It had been developing, strengthening, and refining itself through every experience you have had. It is not separate from you, yet it carries insight beyond your immediate perception. It is the part of you that remains connected to truth even when everything around you becomes unclear. As the approaching moment draws near, this voice will become more active. Not louder, but more noticeable. You may feel it as a quiet nudge, a sense that something deserves more attention than you initially give it. You may feel it as a calm certainty that appears without explanation. You may even feel it as a gentle resistance, a pause that prevents you from moving forward too quickly. These are not interruptions. They are guidance. The challenge is not hearing this voice. The challenge is trusting it in real time. Because when the moment arrives, everything on the surface may appear simple. It may not seem like a situation that requires deeper thought. And that is where the voice within you will speak. Not to complicate the moment, but to reveal what is hidden beneath it. Michael warns that doubt will attempt to interfere. Not in a dramatic way, but in subtle questions. Is this really important? Am I overthinking this? Should I just move on? These thoughts are not always your own. They are part of the same tension you have already been experiencing between distraction and discernment. And their purpose is to create hesitation, to weaken your trust in what you are sensing. But this time, you are not meant to ignore the voice. You are meant to follow it. Following it does not mean making dramatic changes or reacting impulsively. It means pausing when you feel the nudge. It means observing when something feels different. It means allowing yourself to stay present with what you are sensing instead of dismissing it. This is where your awareness becomes active. Because the voice within you will not force a decision. It will offer direction. It will point you toward clarity, but it will not push you into it. You must choose to listen. You must choose to acknowledge it, even when it feels subtle. There is also something important you must understand about this voice. It does not come with fear, and does not rush you. It does not overwhelm you. When it speaks, it carries a sense of calm, even if the message itself requires attention. It feels steady, grounded, and clear in a way that does not need external validation. This is how you will recognize it. As the moment approaches, you will not need to search for answers outside of yourself. You will already feel what needs to be understood. The clarity you need will not come from analyzing the situation repeatedly. It will come from allowing this voice to guide your awareness in the moment. Michael emphasizes that this is why you have been prepared. Not just to recognize signs around you, but to trust what is happening within you. Because the external moment and your internal awareness are meant to meet at the same point. And when they do, that is where clarity becomes undeniable. You are not being left to figure this out alone. You are being guided from within. The question is not whether the voice will speak. The question is whether you will trust it when it does. Because when this moment arrives, the voice within you will recognize it immediately. And if you listen, you will know exactly what to do. Type "I trust my inner voice" in the comments if you are ready to follow what you already feel is true. Blessing code 7171 is now strengthening your inner clarity. There is a truth that must be understood clearly, without fear but with full awareness. Not every moment carries equal weight, and not every opportunity repeats itself in the same form. Archangel Michael steps forward with a tone that is steady yet urgent, revealing that the moment approaching you is not just meaningful, it is pivotal. And while it is filled with potential, it also carries a consequence if it is overlooked. This is not about punishment. It is not about failure. It is about timing. There are moments in life that act as gateways. They do not force you to walk through them, but they open for a specific period, offering alignment, clarity, and direction. If recognized, they move you forward with precision. If missed, they do not disappear entirely, but they shift. They return in different forms, often requiring more time, more effort, or more lessons before you arrive at the same point again. Michael makes this clear. Missing the moment does not mean losing your path, but it may mean delaying it. You may have experienced this before without realizing it. Times when something felt almost within reach, when clarity seemed close, when a shift was possible, but something distracted you, something delayed your response, something caused you to overlook what was right in front of you. And later, you saw it. Later, you understood what that moment carried. That realization was not meant to create regret, but to build awareness for the future. And now, you are standing before another one of those moments. The consequence of missing it is not dramatic on the surface. Life will continue. Your routine will move forward. Nothing will immediately appear broken or lost. But beneath that surface, alignment will shift. The direction you could have stepped into will be postponed. The clarity you could have received will take longer to unfold. And the cycle you were ready to move beyond may repeat itself until it is fully understood. This is why awareness matters now more than ever. Because the moment will not announce itself as critical. It will not pause your life and demand recognition. It will pass through your day like any other interaction, any other decision, any other second. And if your attention is elsewhere, if your awareness is not active, it may move past you without being fully seen. Michael does not reveal this to create pressure, but to deepen your focus. Because when you understand the weight of a moment, you begin to treat it differently. You begin to slow down. You begin to observe more closely. You begin to listen not just to what is said, but to what is felt. And in doing so, you place yourself in alignment with what the moment is meant to reveal. Here is also another layer to this consequence. When a moment is missed, it often returns as a lesson. Not identical, but similar. A repeated pattern. A familiar situation that feels slightly different, yet carries the same underlying message. This is not coincidence. It is correction. It is life presenting the same truth again until it is recognized and understood. Michael says, you are not meant to repeat this cycle again. You have been prepared. You have been made aware. You have been guided to this point so that when the moment arrives, you will see it clearly and respond with intention. But the choice will still be yours. Because awareness does not remove choice, it enhances it. You can still choose to move quickly, to react without thinking, to dismiss what feels subtle. You can still choose to treat the moment as ordinary. But if you do, the opportunity within it will remain hidden, and its potential will not be fully realized. This is why the message is being given to you now, before anything happens. So that when you step into your day, you carry a different level of awareness. So that when something feels slightly different, you do not ignore it. So that when your inner voice speaks, you do not silence it. So that when the moment appears, you are not rushing past it, you are standing within it. Archangel Michael stands beside you with clarity, not to control your actions, but to remind you of the importance of presence. Because the difference between alignment and delay often comes down to a single moment, a single response, a single decision made with awareness instead of habit. You are not being asked to be perfect. You are being asked to be present. Because presence is what allows you to see what others miss. And in this moment, seeing clearly will change everything. Do not let it pass unnoticed. Type "I will not miss IT" in the comments if you are ready to stay aware. Blessing code 8282 is now anchoring your attention in the present moment. As this message speaks about not missing what heaven places before you, understand this: every time you help this word reach another soul, you are opening someone else's eyes before their moment arrives. This is not support for a channel. This is participation in a divine assignment that awakens lives. The word declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you." And right now, that promise is alive and active over your obedience. I feel this strongly. I am stepping forward to sow into something that carries eternal impact. When you release your seed through Super Thanks with a PayPal link in the description, you are planting light into places where confusion once lived. Heaven sees your action, and heaven responds with multiplication. Do not delay this prompting. Act now and become part of the moment that changes someone else's path. As the moment approaches, there is one distinction that will determine everything that follows, whether you react or whether you respond. Archangel Michael brings this into focus now with clarity and authority, because what seems like a small difference in behavior is actually a powerful shift in awareness. And in the moment that is coming, that difference will define the outcome. Reaction is automatic. It is fast, familiar, and often driven by patterns you have repeated many times before. It comes from habit, from emotion, from learned responses that activate without asking for your permission. When something happens, reaction moves instantly, without pause, without reflection. It feels natural, even justified. But what Michael wants you to see is that reaction belongs to the past. It is shaped by what you have already experienced, not by what is unfolding now. Response is different. Response is intentional. It does not rush. It does not force itself forward. It begins with a pause, even if that pause lasts only a second. In this space, awareness steps in. Observation replaces assumption. Clarity begins to form. And from that clarity, a different kind of action emerges, one that is not controlled by habit, but guided by presence. The moment that is approaching you will create an opening between these two paths. Something will happen, perhaps small, perhaps subtle, and your first instinct will be to react, to speak quickly, to decide immediately, to move forward without hesitation. The impulse will feel familiar, almost automatic, but within that same moment, there will be another option, a quiet pause, a chance to step back, even slightly, and choose differently. This is where your awareness becomes active. Michael explains that this pause is not weakness. It is not hesitation. It is power. Because in that pause, you step out of old patterns and into present awareness. You allow yourself to see the moment clearly instead of filtering it through past experiences. And when you see clearly, your response carries a different kind of alignment. You may not even notice how quickly reaction tries to take control. It may appear as a sudden emotion rising within you, a feeling of urgency that pushes you to act immediately, a thought that tells you, handle this now. But Michael warns that urgency is not always truth. Sometimes it is simply the momentum of habit trying to maintain control. This is why the pause matters, because in that pause, you break the momentum. You create space between what is happening and how you choose to engage with it. And in that space, something shifts. You begin to see what is actually present, not just what you expect to see. You begin to hear what is truly being said, not just what you assume is being communicated. You begin to feel what is real, not just what is familiar. This is the power of responding, and this is what will be tested in the moment that is coming. You may find that someone says something that triggers a familiar reaction. You may feel the urge to defend, to explain, or to respond quickly in a way you have before. But if you pause, even briefly, you may notice something different beneath the surface. A deeper meaning, a different intention, a layer that would have been missed if you reacted immediately. You may also encounter a situation that seems straightforward, something you would normally handle without thinking twice. But this time, the response required may not be the one you have used before. This time, awareness will guide you towards something slightly different, something more aligned with where you are now rather than where you have been. Michael emphasizes that responding does not mean doing less. It means doing what is right for the moment, not what is automatic. It means allowing awareness to shape your action instead of allowing habit to control it. This is where transformation becomes real, not in large, dramatic changes, but in small, precise shifts in how you engage with the moment in front of you. Because every time you choose response over reaction, you step further into alignment. You move away from repetition and into clarity. You begin to experience moments differently because you are no longer bringing the past into them in the same way. The moment that is approaching will give you this opportunity, not to prove anything, not to perform, but to choose. To choose awareness over habit. To choose presence over impulse. To choose response over reaction. And in that choice, something will change. Not just in the moment itself, but in the direction that follows it. Archangel Michael stands with you in this, reminding you that you are not bound to react the way you always have. You are capable of something greater now, something more aligned, something more aware. All it takes is a pause and the willingness to choose differently when the moment arrives. Type "I choose to respond" in the comments if you are ready to move with awareness. Blessing code 9393 is now strengthening your ability to act with clarity. As you move closer to this moment, there is something you must understand deeply and without doubt. You are not approaching it alone. Archangel Michael steps forward with a presence that is steady, protective, and unwavering, reminding you that awareness is not your only support. There is also protection surrounding you, guiding you, and positioning you exactly where you need to be. This protection does not always appear in ways you expect. It does not always remove every obstacle or prevent every challenge. Instead, it works with precision. It redirects what could harm you. It delays what is not aligned. It blocks what is unnecessary. And it opens what is meant for you at the exact moment you are ready to receive it. You may not always recognize it in real time. Sometimes protection looks like a delay that frustrates you, a plan that does not unfold the way you expected. A conversation that does not happen when you thought it would. In those moments, it can feel like things are not working in your favor. But Michael reveals that what feels like resistance is often redirection. What feels like a closed path is often a shield. There have been things you were kept from without even realizing it. Situations that could have pulled you into confusion. Decisions that could have led you away from clarity. Interactions that could have distracted you from your path. You may never see all of them, but they were there. And each time, something intervened, not loudly, not dramatically, but effectively. That same protection is active now. As the moment approaches, you are being guided into the exact position where you can see it clearly. Not too early, not too late, but precisely when your awareness is ready to recognize it. This is not coincidence. This is alignment supported by protection. Michael wants you to release the idea that you must control everything in order for things to go right. Because control often comes from fear. The fear of missing something, the fear of making a wrong decision, the fear of not being prepared enough. But what you are being shown now is that you are not relying solely on your own effort. There is a force working alongside your awareness, ensuring that what is meant to reach you will not be lost. This does not mean you can ignore your role. Your awareness is still required. Your presence still matters. But you are not navigating blindly. You are being guided, even in ways you do not fully see. You may begin to notice small confirmations of this protection. Moments where something does not go as planned, but later reveals itself as beneficial. Situations where you are delayed, only to realize that the delay served a purpose. Encounters that do not happen, preventing something unnecessary from entering your path. These are not random outcomes. They are signs that protection is active. Michael emphasizes that this protection also extends into the moment itself. When the interaction occurs, when the decision presents itself, when the situation unfolds, you will not be left uncertain without support. The same awareness that has been developing within you will be strengthened in that moment. The same guidance that has been subtle will become clear enough for you to recognize. You may not have all the answers immediately, but you will have enough clarity to move correctly. That is what protection provides. Not complete control, but sufficient clarity. Not total certainty, but enough awareness to act with alignment. And this is where trust becomes important. Because protection does not always feel like certainty. It often feels like quiet assurance. A sense that even if you do not fully understand everything, you're still in the right place. That what is meant for you will not pass you by, and what is not meant for you will not reach you. Michael is asking you to hold on to that understanding now. To trust that you are not exposed. That you are not unguarded. That you are not left to navigate this moment without support. Because when you carry the trust, you move differently. You do not rush out of fear. You do not react out of uncertainty. You remain steady, present, and aware. And in that state, you are able to recognize what the moment truly carries. The protection around you is not loud. It does not demand your attention. But it is constant. It is precise. And it is already in motion. As you step closer to this moment, remember this. You are being guided into it, not pushed into it. You are being supported through it, not left within it. And whatever unfolds, you are not facing it alone. Archangel Michael stands with you, not just as a watcher, but as a guardian of your path. And nothing that is meant for you will be lost. Type "I am protected" in the comments if you trust the guidance surrounding you. Blessing code 1010 is now activating divine covering over your path. What happens after the moment is just as important as the moment itself. Archangel Michael reveals this now so you understand that what you are approaching is not an isolated event. It is a turning point, and what follows it will not be random. It will be the direct result of how you see, how you respond, and how you align within that single, seemingly ordinary interaction. Transformation does not always arrive with visible change at first. It often begins internally, quietly, almost unnoticed by others. But within you, something shifts. A realization settles. A clarity locks into place. A sense of direction becomes stronger than it was before. This is the beginning of transformation, not in what happens around you, but in how you perceive and move forward from that moment. Michael explains that when awareness meets the right moment, alignment is activated. This means that things begin to move differently, not because you are forcing them, but because you are now in position to receive what was already being prepared. Paths that once felt unclear begin to make sense. Decisions that once felt complicated become simpler. Situations that once caused confusion begin to reveal their purpose. This is not coincidence. It is the result of seeing the moment correctly and stepping into it with awareness. You may notice that after this moment, something feels lighter. Not because everything has changed instantly, but because something within you has settled. A question you have been carrying may finally have an answer, even if it is not spoken directly. The tension you have been feeling may ease, not because the situation disappears, but because you now understand it differently. This internal shift is the foundation of everything that follows. There is also a reordering that begins to take place. Things that once felt important may no longer hold the same weight. Certain thoughts, concerns, or distractions may naturally fall away, not because you are trying to remove them, but because they no longer align with your awareness. At the same time, new clarity begins to emerge. You start to recognize what truly matters, what requires your attention, and what can be released without hesitation. Michael emphasizes that this transformation is not forced. It is not something you have to create. It is something that unfolds naturally once you step into alignment. This is why the moment itself is so important. Because it is not just about what happens during it, it is about what it unlocks afterward. A single shift in awareness can change the way you approach everything that follows. It can alter your direction, refine your decisions, and bring you into a level of clarity that was not accessible before. You may also notice changes in how others interact with you. Not dramatically, but subtly. Conversations may begin to feel different. The way people respond to you may shift. Situations that once repeated themselves may begin to resolve or move in a new direction. This is not because others have suddenly changed, but because your alignment has shifted, and that shift influences everything connected to it. There is also an increase in confidence that comes with this transformation. Not loud or external confidence, but a quiet certainty. A sense that you are no longer guessing your way forward. That you understand something now that you did not fully see before. This certainty does not come from external validation. It comes from the clarity you gained by recognizing the moment and responding to it with awareness. Michael wants you to understand that transformation is not always immediate in appearance, but it is immediate in effect. The moment you see clearly, everything begins to adjust around that clarity. You may not see the full outcome right away, but the direction has already changed. And once that direction shifts, everything that follows begins to align with it. This is also where your responsibility continues. Because awareness is not something you use once and then set aside. It becomes part of how you move forward. The same attention, the same presence, the same discernment that allowed you to recognize the moment must now continue to guide you beyond it. This is how transformation deepens. Not through a single event, but through consistent awareness after the event. You are not returning to the same patterns. You are moving forward with a different understanding, and that understanding will continue to shape your path in ways you cannot fully see yet. Archangel Michael stands with you, not just in the moment, but beyond it, reminding you that what you are stepping into is not temporary. It is a shift that carries forward, influencing your decisions, your direction, and your awareness from this point onward. The moment will pass, but what it awakens within you will remain, and that is where the true transformation begins. Type "I receive the transformation" in the comments if you are ready to move forward with clarity. Blessing code 1112 is now activating lasting alignment in your life. The moment is closer now than it has ever been. Not in some distant future, not in a time you must wait for, but in a space that is already forming within your present reality. Archangel Michael stands with unwavering clarity and delivers this final truth. You are not being prepared anymore. You are ready. Everything you have experienced, everything you have sensed, everything you have learned to notice has led you to this exact point. The only question that remains is not whether the moment will come, but whether you will recognize it when it does. You have been guided step by step through awareness, through preparation, through understanding the signs, the shift, the test, the distraction, the voice within, and the consequence of missing it. None of this was random. None of this was unnecessary. It was all intentional, all precise, all leading to this final realization. You already carry what you need to see clearly. But readiness alone is not enough. Michael makes this clear. Many are prepared, but few are present. Many have the awareness, but not the attention. Many sense the shift, but still move too quickly to recognize it. And that is where the difference is made. Not in ability, not in worthiness, but in presence. The moment will not slow itself down for you. It will not pause and announce its importance. It will not demand your focus. It will simply appear, as everything else does, quietly, naturally, wrapped in the ordinary. And in that instant, your awareness will either activate, or your habits will take over. This is your final call to remain awake. Not in fear, not in pressure, but in clarity. To move through your day with intention. To observe instead of rushing. To listen instead of assuming. To feel instead of dismissing. Because when the moment arrives, it will not give you time to prepare. You are already in it. There is something powerful about this point. Because you are no longer unaware. You are no longer moving blindly. You have been shown what to look for, what to feel, what to trust. And that changes everything. It means that when the moment comes, there will be a part of you that recognizes it immediately. A quiet certainty, a subtle shift, a knowing that this is not just another second passing by. And in that knowing, you will have a choice to move past it as you always have, or to stand within it and see it for what it truly is. Michael is not asking you to be perfect in that moment. He is asking you to be present, because presence is what transforms an ordinary moment into a turning point. Presence is what allows you to respond instead of react. Presence is what connects your preparation to his purpose. You have reached the edge of something important, not something distant, but something immediate. And everything now depends on how you carry your awareness into what comes next. Do not rush. Do not dismiss. Do not assume. Because the moment that carries more meaning than you expect is not somewhere else. It is already moving toward you. And when it arrives, it will be quiet. It will be simple. It will be easy to overlook. But if you remain aware, if you trust what you feel, if you stay present within it, you will see it clearly. And when you do, everything will shift. This is your final reminder. This is your confirmation. This is your moment to stay awake. Type "I will notice" in the comments if you are ready to remain present. Blessing code 1212 is now sealing your awareness in divine timing. As this message reaches its final call, understand this deeply. When you help this word go further, you are placing divine awareness into the path of someone who is standing at their own unseen moment. This is not about giving to a creator. It is about releasing light into lives that are waiting for clarity. The word declares, "Cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it after many days," and this is that moment of release. I feel led to say it plainly. I am taking action to help this message reach those who are about to miss their turning point. When you sow through Super Thanks or the PayPal link in the description or QR code on the screen, you are igniting revelation in someone else's life. Heaven records every seed, and what you release now will return with multiplied purpose and blessing. Do not hesitate. Step into this act of obedience and give now.